Tukiwa tumesalia kusimama Mheshimiwa Rais, wacha tupokee maombi kutoka kwake Bishop Oliver Konje wa State Department for Trade. Karibu Bishop.
Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, God Almighty, we thank you for this opportunity to be in Kenya. We commit Kenya as a nation. Dear Lord Almighty, protect our nation. We thank you, God Almighty, for the grace that you have given His Excellency, the President, and his team. We commit him unto your hand, O Lord. May you grant him wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and skill to develop this country for the glory.
Nchini na waziri mteule wa wizara hiyo, washikadau wote katika sekta ya kilimo, majani chai nchini, mabibi na mabwana. Kwa ruhusa yako Mheshimiwa Rais, nikubalie niweze kualika katibu mkuu katika wizara ya viwanda na biashara nchini, Balozi Johnson Weru, aweze kutuongoza katika ratiba ya siku hii. Karibu sana Balozi.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, Your Excellency, Dr. Samoei William Ruto. With your permission, sir, allow me to invite the Secretary General of the AfCFTA, Mr. Mkelemeni, to make his remarks. Mr. Mkelemeni,
thank you very much, Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Kenya, Cabinet Secretaries that are here today, Excellencies, Ambassadors, High Commissioners, business people that are here today. If I may start by sharing with you how I ended up in Nairobi this morning. I was on my way from the United Kingdom, and we stopped for a refueling stop in Cairo at 3 a.m. I received a message when I put on my phone call that the President and the government of Kenya are expecting you. I called the pilot. I said, can we divert to Nairobi? And what time can we get there? And so I'm most grateful, Your Excellency, that I am here and that the government was able to arrange for me to be here. Today is a historic day. It is a historic day because what Kenya and Ghana are doing is to give commercial meaning to the whole project on which we all stand in the African Union, the project of integrating our market, integrating our economy as a continent, and placing our continent on a path to global competitiveness one day. What we've seen as we were coming here this morning, the display, is value-added production. Value-added production that will enable Africa to trade in industrial products, to uplift millions and millions of people out of poverty, to create opportunities for small, medium enterprises, to create opportunities for young people. In 2015, our continent exported $6 billion worth of unprocessed tea and coffee. The global market for coffee and tea is estimated to be over $100 billion. The processing is done elsewhere. The repackaging is done elsewhere, outside of our continent, and you can see the losses in the value chain. And so today is the beginning of us reversing that trend, which has sustained over the last 60 years or so, where we as Africans are taking the initiative, accelerating industrial development and accelerating Africa's capacity to export. Another example that I will cite, which always disturbs me, in 2019, our continent imported $16 billion worth of pharmaceutical products. But those components, if I may call them that make the pharmaceutical products that we import from the rest of the world are made here in Africa. They are here on the African continent. And so, Your Excellency, President, what you and your government have done and what the government of Ghana have done, and the others who are beginning this initiative, is truly a historic moment where Africa's industrialization, the path is starting today. And our capacity as a continent to industrialize, to accelerate our opportunities in terms of global competitiveness, I believe, starts today by this initiative. Other countries will follow. On Friday, it will be Cameroon, Tunisia, Egypt, Mauritius, that will also be trading in manufactured goods that are manufactured in various African countries, so that eventually, in 15 years' time, we double intra-Africa trade, and not only double intra-Africa trade in primary products, but double intra-Africa trade in manufactured goods. The next challenge that we will have to confront is access to trade finance. If the AfCFTA benefits only large corporations, which they should benefit, if the AfCFTA benefits only the elite on our continent, I'm afraid it shall not succeed. That is why we have to make sure that our development finance institutions make available, readily available, the trade finance that is required to ensure that small medium enterprises benefit. 450 million jobs are created in the African continent by small medium enterprises that are largely led by women, creating and contributing close to 60% to Africa's GDP. And so we've got to make sure that we focus on small medium enterprises, young entrepreneurs, so that they can see the benefits of trade, they can expand their markets, the reach of their businesses from East Africa to West Africa to Southern Africa. This is what the AfCFTA is all about, creating opportunities for millions and millions of young people so that Africans stop dying and being buried deep in the Mediterranean oceans as they seek a better life abroad. And so this initiative today, it may appear on the face of it to be about trade, but actually it goes deep in the heart of Africa's development. It goes to Africa's economic development, creating opportunities for young people, uplifting our continent so that we are no longer the headquarters of poverty in the world, and so that one day we too as Africans can be as globally competitive as any other part of the world. And I believe that that shall happen. If I may leave you with this very positive projection, which always encourages me. The World Bank in 2021 released a study, and they said, where the AfCFTA is implemented effectively, there is potential to lift 100 million Africans out of poverty, to contribute $450 billion to Africa's GDP, to boost intra-Africa trade by over 80%, and more importantly, to create opportunities for small medium enterprises. So we have a very unique opportunity as Africans, a very unique opportunity to take a trade agreement and make it an instrument of development, job creation innovation, and global competitiveness. And so with your leadership, Your Excellency, I believe that in 10, 15 years' time, our continent will be able to trace back the successes that we would have made on that day. We would be able to trace back the successes to today, when actually in Kenya we started trading under the AfCFTA in earnest. I want to thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you.
Welcome, SG. Once more, with your permission, Your Excellency, allow me to invite the Chair of KTDA, Mr. David Muni Ishoho, to make brief remarks. Mr. Ishoho, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of Defense Forces, Cabinet Secretary, Mining, Minister of Industry, Trade and Development, Amanda Betty, CS nominee, Minister of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, honorable officials, KTDA Board and Management, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Today we gather here to witness the small-scale tea sector as you flag off the first container of Ketepa value-added tea destined for Ghana at the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. Kenya is the leading exporter of black tea in the world. Increased market access is our top priority to grow the earnings for our tea farmers. We are happy to take this opportunity to diversify our market from our traditional predominantly bulk tea market to value-added markets like Ghana. This is in line with your government agenda for improving the nation's export earnings through value addition. The tea subsector supports the livelihood of more than 600,000 farmers, majority of whom own less than half an acre of tea. KTDA as an aggregator manages the processing and marketing of tea from 71 processing factories spread across the 16 counties. We apply the economic principle of economy of scale to enhance efficiency and ensure farmers is paid promptly for their produce. In the last financial year, Your Excellency, the small tea holder farmer earned 62.89 billion shillings for their tea, which was an improvement by 42.4% compared with the previous year, earning of 44.15 billion shillings. KTD has invested in subsidiary companies within the tea value chain to save costs as well as manage enhanced revenue. Ketepa, whose mandate is value addition for local, regional, and international market, is one of the subsidiary companies where KTDA is a majority shareholder. Ketepa has indeed been a household name in Kenya over the years, with brands like Safari Pure, Fahari ya Kenya, among others. The subsidiary has been among the market leader in Kenya and supposed to live big from the access of greater African market brought about by AfCFTA. Your Excellency, Kenya tea production has been growing from 390 million kilos in the year 2015 to over 530 million kilos made tea in the year 2021. This growth against the backdrop of stagnating low consumption have put pressure on our export market. Our main market, especially Pakistan, Egypt, Sudan, have in the recent past faced economic challenges brought about by post-COVID effects as well as Russia-Ukraine war. We have been working closely with the Ministry of Trade, Tea Board, and other government agencies to open the market, especially for orthodox and value-added tea. We appeal for the government to support bilaterally by making our tea more competitive access, especially in markets that have tariff barriers. We also request the government support in coming up with common use facility for value addition to enable more players to venture into the business without having to invest the huge capital outlay. To become more competitive in the international market, sir, we require efficient logistics system and ensure the cargo is delivered to the market promptly. KTD has invested in the logistics center at Mombasa Road in Nairobi and warehouses in Mombasa. This has improved the handling of tea and fertilizer. We request your government through the Kenya Railway to provide us with the railway siding and the last mile connectivity for this facility to enable us efficient use of SGR. We are most grateful, Your Excellency, for the fertilizer subsidy that has enabled farmers access NPK at the cost of 3,500, down from 5,617 marketplace. This will go a long way in improving the tea productivity. On our end, Your Excellency, we have reduced the interest rate from 21% to 8% for loans given to farmers by our microfinance subsidiary, Greenland Fellow. This is in line with your recent policy of a single-digit lending rates to boost access of credit by small traders and farmers to support the bottom-up economic model. We pledge to share our experience with the government institution charged with this initiative, as well as offer support in the implementation leverage of our model. We thank you most sincerely, Your Excellency, for your commitment to reform in the agriculture, agro-processing, value addition. I look forward to playing a critical role toward the realization of greater good of our nation. We pledge to work with you closely with your government in your transformation agenda for our great nation, Kenya. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Business communities, good morning from Ghana. And I must be one of the happiest people to be here this morning for a very simple reason. Since the discussions, the deliberations and negotiations under the CFTA started, some of us, right from the word go, believed that we could not wait for every country to be ready before we implement the AfCFTA. And we held on to that belief. And the last person that I spoke with was with His Excellency President Paul Kagame in June during the Shogun. And I mentioned to him that, Your Excellency, with the political will and your support, can we come together, those countries that are ready for the CFTA to take off? And he told me, I think you are right. So I wasn't so surprised. A few weeks after that conversation, and I heard that this important, significant step was being launched in Accra. And I want, Your Excellency, through you, to thank the Secretary General and the entire Secretariat of the CFTA for the wonderful job that they have done. This is the most significant step as far as the success of the African Continental Free Trade is concerned. And I'm very grateful for that. Between Ghana and Kenya, I think our relations date back to our first president, President Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and President Jomo Kenyatta. They worked so well together. And since then, our relations have evolved. But it is important for us to underscore the point that excellent political relations is not enough. It must be translated to affect the economic dimension of our relations. So what we are witnessing today is exactly what we expect, that the political impetus should lead us to an economic improvement. I wouldn't want to say so much, but Excellency, I don't think we need that much support from elsewhere to ensure the success and effective implementation of the African Continental Free Trade era. We need two things: demonstrable political will and commitment. Once we can get these two from across the continent, nobody can stop Africans from realizing the full benefits and the potential of the CFTA. Ghana continues to work closely with Kenya. And we were expecting a state visit. We nearly had it last April. And then the unfortunate demise of your former president truncated that visit. So I want to use this channel to humbly request Your Excellency to consider resurrecting that discussion for a state visit to Ghana, for us to continue to consolidate the excellent relations that have existed so excellently between Ghana and Kenya. I want to thank you all for coming and for joining Ghana and Kenya experiencing this particular event. I thank you, Mr. Excellency. Thank you.
Your Excellency, sir, it is now my honor and privilege to invite Madam Betty Maina to take over the program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, Cabinet Secretary-designate, the Honorable Moses Kuria. I've seen my senator here, Senator for Kericho, Secretary General, and everybody else who is present here, and especially the team from KTDA. We are really honored, Your Excellency, that you found time to come and witness this occasion and demonstrate the importance of trade and the importance of smallholders in our country. We are very, very honored. I know you've been very busy, but this is a real milestone. As has been mentioned, this is really part and parcel of our trade within Africa, and the Secretary General has outlined the vision that you as our leaders have, and it is for us to implement. I just want to confirm to you, Your Excellency, that Kenya has taken its place very seriously in these negotiations, and we've been some of the fast movers. So what you're witnessing today is a demonstration of that energy. This pilot initiative of guided trade under the CFTA has been preceded by preparations in our country. I want to confirm that our trade facilitation agencies, the Revenue Authority, the Bureau of Standards, and all related have aligned themselves and have prepared the necessary documentation to support. But this is being supported directly also by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I expect that our ambassador will be on the other side to facilitate, to make sure, because this is something new for us, so sometimes our people might not have taken that amount of time to align. But the governments who are taking this initiative have decided that we will make sure this works, and more will be coming and joining on board. As we've briefed you before, we have identified other markets in Mauritius, in Cameroon, in Egypt, of products that we will be piloting under this initiative, and my colleague who is taking over from this role will have the responsibility of supplying you with a report on what is being done. I really want to thank you. I know it's, and I would have liked to invite my colleague to just wave, but I'm aware of the processes that we must go through. And with that, Your Excellency, it is my humble duty to invite you to address this gathering. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Betty, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's take our seats. Asanteni sana. First, it gives me great pleasure to be here this morning, to be part of this historic occasion, as has been said ably by the Secretary General of Africa Continental Free Trade Area. This event today it marks the first step in a journey that will liberate our continent from export of raw material to the rest of the world to export of processed, manufactured products, not just to our continent, but to the rest of the world. This is a very significant step. And when we began the journey to consolidate the market in Africa and provide the infrastructure using the AfCFTA statute, it looked like it was a dream. But today, we are living that dream as reality. This first step is historic in the sense that we now can harvest the returns of the huge market, the 1 billion people market in our continent. The infrastructure provided by the Africa Continental Free Trade Area of making it easier for us to overcome all barriers to trade and all barriers to doing business with ourselves in this continent is a very significant step in making Africa overcome its challenges of investment and its challenges of trade. I am very happy that it is the farmers who have made this first step a reality. And I'm saying it is the ordinary farmers. You've heard that KTDA is a consolidation of 650,000 farmers, most of them on under 1 acre of production of tea. And it's amazing how ordinary people, a farmer on 1 acre, can make Africa Continental Free Trade Area a reality. That is the power of unity. That's the power of consolidation. That is the power of aggregation. And that's the power of working together. So I look forward to many, many more steps in our journey to ensuring that we grow the intra-trade in our continent from the current 15 to 18% to where other continents are, upwards of 50%. I know that it will require a lot of political goodwill, as has been said here. It will require a lot of building of confidence between our business people, our entrepreneurs, and our investors. But I stand here as one of the policymakers that we undertake that we will do our bit as policymakers to make this a reality. So, Mr. Secretary General, you have Kenya on board. Kenya believed in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area from the beginning. I think there is normally a debate as to which country signed and ratified the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. I think the action of today that Kenya has taken the first step confirms that Kenya indeed was the first country to ratify and deposit the instruments of ratification because we believed from the beginning that this is the way to liberate our continent from underdevelopment. We will continue to work with all partners in our continent. I want to take this occasion, Mr. Secretary General, to ask our brothers and sisters in this continent that it is indeed in our interest that we actualize the benefits that come with the infrastructure that is being built by the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, so that our continent can take its rightful place as a mover in the economy of the world. Africa today only contributes 3% of trade in the whole world. It is time that we occupy our rightful place, and I believe that Africa Continental Free Trade Area gives us the platform to be able to actualize our dream of taking Africa to this rightful place in matters trade, in matters investment, and in matters business. I am acutely aware that majority of the farmers, whether it's tea or coffee, many of them are small-scale farmers. And small-scale farmers have done their best to put our country in the map. They are the pride of our exports. They contribute 90% of all the tea we export is grown by farmers on 1 acre, half an acre. And this year, we earned 1.1 billion shillings. $1.1 billion, sorry, $1.1 billion from the export of tea. That is significant. That is what consolidation does. That is what aggregation does. And that is why I have intentionally set up 2 ministries, one for trade, investment, and industry, and another one for cooperatives and SME development, because that is the space that gives us 80% of our jobs and drives our economy and our GDP significantly. I look forward to working with the whole array of sector players in this space, and specifically working with our farmers to begin with. Our very first intervention on farmers, and I discussed this with KTDA, is to try and reduce the cost of production so that we can enhance our productivity. Progressively, we are going to work with our farmers so that we can better support them in production. I have said we are going to make a conscious decision to support our production and not to subsidize our consumption. That is the trajectory we are going, and that is why I want to ask our farmers progressively that we are going to be working with you. The government of Kenya will work with you towards enhancing our productivity and increasing our production of the cross-section of all the items that we produce. As the chairman has said, the government of Kenya has already worked on the fertilizer components. I know we have, the government has made available about 3.5 billion shillings so that our farmers can have access to fertilizer at a fairly reduced price of 3,500. We are still working with the producers of fertilizer. We want to see whether we can take this fertilizer down to between 2,500 and 3,000. That is our trajectory. And it's not just for tea, it's for all our farmers, whether they are doing coffee or they are doing wheat or maize or all the other cereals in that space. Secondly, I have already had a discussion with industry players in the tea sector. They have raised a couple of issues, matters to do with taxation. I want to undertake that our next agenda, when we will be discussing our budget, is to eliminate any barriers in the tea sector that come as a result of matters taxation. We are going to look at the cost-benefit analysis on VAT on tea, whether it is helping the farmers or it is stifling our value addition agro-processing trajectory. I have also had a conversation on emerging markets, markets for tea, orthodox tea, and I have been informed that KTDA may require some support so that we can capture the market on orthodox tea. I have given undertaking that in the next 2 weeks, I want a proposal from KTDA so that we can provide the resources for KTDA to make it possible for more farmers to produce orthodox tea so that we can access that market and take advantage of what is going on globally, especially in the orthodox tea space. Bwana Chairman, I will be expecting a proposal from you on what you want us to do, the kind of resources that you expect from us, and I have already told you that we will make those resources available because we want to take our tea to the next level. The other two very important things that we must do is to develop a Kenyan brand of tea. We need a brand, a Kenyan brand. And we are going to work with Keteba, we are going to work with all the other players so that together we can focus. For a very long time, Kenya has produced tea that has helped everybody brand their low-quality tea. I think it is time we help ourselves. We have helped everybody, which is fine, but it is time we ourselves take the advantage of our good quality tea and brand it, and anybody else who wants to use our good quality tea must come and work with us. So the ministry, the instructions to you are very clear. We must have a Kenyan branded product in tea that we can market, and it doesn't matter what form it takes. I am going to be available, and the government of Kenya is going to be available until we have that brand of tea so that we can be selling our tea. Number two, in the next 5 years, we must move our value-added tea from 5% to 50%. Today, we are adding value to only 5% of our tea. I want to tell the ministry it's not going to be business as usual. We are going to move our value-added tea for export from 5% to 50%. At the minimum. I am talking about at the minimum. Because you've heard for yourselves, our competitors are producing maybe 60% of quantities like us, but they are earning 3 times because they are adding value. And I want to announce here that the government of Kenya is going to work with the industry players so that in Dongokundu, we can have a common user facility that the government of Kenya is going to invest in so that we can process, we can package, and we can value add our tea out of the Dongokundu facility. I think KTDA is already aware, and I'm sure all the other players are aware. That way, even the smallest of our producers can have access to a value addition facility without major investments. Let me also say that all these interventions, we are going to be working with industry players. I am very clear in my mind where we need to take this in terms of tea, in terms of coffee, and all the other cereals that we are engaged in, and all the other products that we are working with. We not only want to leverage on the infrastructure provided to us by the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, we're going to look at other markets. There is absolutely no reason why people in the African continent go to buy tea from other markets when we have our own very high quality tea that we can provide to them at the same price at which they are buying tea from other. I expect the ministry to take this to the next level. Apart from Ghana, I expect us to have a conversation with Cameroon. I expect us to have a conversation, the same conversation with Tunisia, with Morocco, and all the other major tea importing countries in our continent, so that we can give them the opportunity to drink the best tea in the world from Kenya. I think it is unfair. I think it's unfair for our brothers and sisters in this continent to drink low-quality tea when they can have the best quality tea from their own brothers and sisters from Kenya. So I look forward to us working on this project and program so that we can actualize the aspirations of our country and also of the many ordinary farmers around our country or across our country who want a better income from their tea and coffee. I want to encourage all our farmers. Many of them, sometimes they get discouraged because of what they see in the market. I want to tell them we're going to support them, we're going to stand by them, we're going to make sure that they can produce more, and we're going to make sure that there will be value for the tea they produce, and their earnings will increase. That's the trajectory which we want to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me not say more than that. Let me congratulate our brothers from Ghana. We appreciate that Ghana has not only been friends to Kenya, but they are willing for us to take our friendship and our collaboration to the next level. When we do business together, we become even greater friends. So I hope the business people in Kenya and the business people in Ghana will seize this opportunity, make money, create prosperity, create jobs, but most importantly, make sure our farmers get a better return for their product. So, asanteni sana, and I look forward to working with all of you as we forge ahead into the future together. Asanteni sana.
Shukran za dhati Mheshimiwa Rais. Tafadhali kwa ruhusa yako kabla uondoke, ninaomba uweze kupewa zawadi ambayo umeweza kuandaliwa na mwenyekiti wa KETEPA Bwana John wa Susana, naye Group CEO KTDA Bwana Wilson Mudhaura. Tafadhali Mheshimiwa Rais, kubali zawadi hiyo. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais kwa kukubali tuzo zawadi hiyo ambayo kwa hakika walinichuna wakaniambia usije ukaikataa. Kwa sasa ningeomba kwa ruhusa yako
What